Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, a place where the echoes of history ring out from every corner, and the promise of opportunity has drawn generations to its cities and towns. Birthplace of America, home of the Liberty Bell, cheesesteaks, and a staggering number of groundhogs. It's a state that's proud of its quirks and its contributions, from the founding fathers to the famous Philly sandwich. It's a state built on history, industry, and blue-collar pride, a place where tradition runs deep and the American dream is supposed to be possible. Generations of families have worked the mills, built the railroads, and shaped the nation's story from the ground up. But there's another Pennsylvania, one that doesn't make it into the tourism brochures. It's a side of the state that's easy to overlook, but impossible to ignore once you see it. In the shadows of skyscrapers and beyond the farmlands, the American dream has curdled into a daily nightmare for many. The contrast between hope and hardship is stark, and it's growing wider every year. This is the story of homelessness in Pennsylvania, a crisis hiding in plain sight from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh to our smallest towns. It's not just an urban problem, it's a statewide emergency that touches every community, no matter how small or seemingly prosperous. It's about neighbors and fellow citizens who have been forgotten and left behind. People who once had homes, jobs, and dreams, now struggling to survive day by day. We've become numb to the sight of people sleeping on benches, or families living in cars, accepting it as a sad feature of modern life. But behind every statistic is a real person, with a story that deserves to be heard. But it's not permanent, and it's not acceptable. Change is possible, and it starts with understanding the truth and refusing to look away. Tonight, we pull back the curtain and show you the human reality behind the statistics. We'll reveal the faces and voices behind the numbers, and the daily struggles that too many Pennsylvanians endure. We'll talk to those living it, examine the broken systems, and hear from the people on the front lines, social workers, volunteers, and advocates who are fighting for change. And we'll ask, in a state with so much history and wealth, how did we let this happen? How can such abundance exist side by side with such need? What you're about to see might make you angry, and it should, because only by facing the truth can we hope to build a better future for everyone in Pennsylvania. This is Frank. He sits quietly on a busy Pennsylvania street, blending into the background as people rush by, their eyes fixed ahead. But Frank is more than just a face in the crowd. He's a story waiting to be heard. He's not a statistic or a policy problem. He's a person with memories, dreams, and a life that once looked very different from today. For over 20 years, Frank worked at a steel mill near Pittsburgh. He clocked in before sunrise, paid his taxes, and came home to a family who depended on him. He was a neighbor you could count on, a friend who'd lend a hand, and a father who never missed a school play. Frank believed in the promise of hard work, stability in exchange for effort. He trusted that if he did his part, the world would do its part too. But then the mill closed, and everything changed. Jobs for someone his age were scarce, and his savings, built over decades, disappeared almost overnight. First went the car, a symbol of his independence. Then, the house. His life dismantled piece by piece, each loss a blow to his sense of self and security. Frank wasn't lazy or irresponsible. He did everything right, but the ground just fell out from under him, leaving him with nowhere to stand. The hardest part? It's not the cold, it's the way people don't look at you. You become invisible. The world keeps moving, but for Frank, time seems to stand still. I used to be somebody. Now, I'm just that homeless guy. The loss of identity cuts deeper than the loss of possessions. Frank's story isn't unique. Across Pennsylvania, thousands face the same fate. Victims of economic shifts, health crises, or family breakdowns. Veterans who served their country. Young people aging out of foster care with nowhere to go. Mothers fleeing violence, seeking safety for their children. They're not a monolith, but individuals with unique struggles and hopes. Each has a story, a name, and deserves dignity. Behind every face is a history, a family, and a future that could be rebuilt with the right support. Homelessness isn't about bad choices, it's about a system that failed people like Frank. It's about jobs that vanished, healthcare that's out of reach, and safety nets that are full of holes. We must see them as individuals, not scenery. Their lives are not background noise, they are part of our community, deserving of compassion and action. Their stories demand our attention. When we look past the surface, we find resilience, hope, and the possibility for change. It starts with seeing Frank, and everyone like him, as a person, not a problem. Personal stories matter, but the numbers reveal the scale. On any night in Pennsylvania, over 13,000 people are homeless, enough to fill the giant center in Hershey. Nearly 1,000 are military veterans, thousands are children. Families with kids are one of the fastest growing groups. For every person you see, many more are hidden, couch surfing, doubling up, living on the edge. The real number of Pennsylvanians who are housing insecure? Hundreds of thousands. Why? Housing costs have soared. Rent for a modest two-bedroom is up 30% in a decade, while minimum wage is stuck at $7.25. You'd need to work over 90 hours a week at minimum wage to afford that apartment. The system isn't broken. It's working as designed, squeezing the most vulnerable. This is a silent epidemic of instability, and it's getting worse. How did the Keystone State become a place where so many have no key to their own home? It's a perfect storm: the loss of good manufacturing jobs, the failed promise of community mental health care, and the extinction of affordable housing. Public housing budgets have been slashed, while luxury condos rise and Section 8 waitlists stretch over a decade. Add in a criminal justice system that sets people up to fail, barred from jobs and housing after prison, released with nothing. We've built a revolving door, from the streets to prison and back again. It's not just neglect, it's policy choices that trap people in cycles of poverty. The result? A system that punishes, not rehabilitates. And the crisis grows. Aren't there shelters and charities to help? It's a question people ask all the time, hoping for a simple answer. On the surface, it seems like there's a safety net for anyone who falls on hard times. Yes, but the system is a bureaucratic maze, full of forms, requirements, and long waits. For many, just figuring out where to start is overwhelming. Shelters are full, especially in winter, when the cold turns every bed into a lifeline. The demand always outpaces the supply, leaving many out in the cold. If you're a man, have a pet, or work odd hours, your chances are worse. Couples are separated, families split up, and people with pets are often forced to choose between safety and their only companion. Rules punish people for trying to hold their lives together. Miss curfew because of a late shift? You're out. Try to keep your pet? You're turned away. The system isn't built for real life. Even if you get a bed, a shelter isn't a home. It's chaotic, crowded, and often unsafe. Privacy is rare, and rest is hard to come by with so many people packed together. Time limits mean you're back on the street in weeks. Every morning, people pack up their lives and head out, not knowing where they'll sleep next. It's a revolving door, not a path to stability. And the paperwork? Endless. Every step forward comes with another form, another hoop to jump through. To get help, you need documents you probably lost when you lost your home. Birth certificates, IDs, proof of income. Things most people take for granted are suddenly impossible to find. No ID, no address, no help. A classic catch-22. Without an address, you can't get ID. Without ID, you can't get an address. The cycle is relentless. The very thing you need to escape homelessness is out of reach because you're homeless. It's a cruel irony that keeps people stuck. The system manages homelessness, not solves it. It's designed to keep people moving, not to help them land on their feet. It's a band-aid on a bullet wound. The deeper issues, affordable housing, mental health care, living wages, are left unaddressed. People fall through the cracks every day, and the cycle continues, trapping more and more people in a system that was never meant to set them free. Homelessness isn't just about lacking a roof, it's a public health emergency. The average life expectancy for someone chronically homeless is around 50, decades shorter than the state average. Living on the street destroys bodies and spirits. Untreated illnesses, infections, and chronic conditions become deadly. Healthcare is out of reach. Emergency rooms become the only option. The mental toll is crushing. Constant stress, fear, and humiliation breed depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Sleep deprivation is daily torture. The loss of dignity is profound. Hope is often the first casualty. When every day is survival, thinking about the future feels impossible. The system seems designed to beat hope out of people. The true cost of inaction? The destruction of human potential. Amid all this, there is hope, because there are helpers, social workers, volunteers, and organizations like Project Home in Philadelphia are leading the fight. Their Housing First model gives people homes first, then support, proven to be more effective and cheaper. In Pittsburgh, Outreach teams build trust, help people get IDs, and connect them to services. In rural areas, church groups and volunteers run food pantries and warming centers, patching together a safety net. These people aren't waiting for government, they're taking action. They remind us that compassion and community are alive. Change starts with people who refuse to look away. We've shown you the scale, the broken systems, and the people caught in the middle. It's easy to feel powerless, but you're not. The biggest weapon homelessness has is our ability to ignore it. The most powerful thing we can do is refuse to look away. Keep talking about it, keep it in the conversation. Political will grows when enough people demand change. That's why we make these documentaries, to arm you with knowledge and stories that can change minds. If this moved you, hit subscribe. It's a small act, but it matters. Every subscription helps us shine a light and build a community that cares. Together, we can demand a real response. Real solutions aren't more shelters, they're homes. We need massive investment in truly affordable housing, not luxury apartments. Fully fund housing, first statewide. It works and saves money. Raise the minimum wage so a full-time job pays for a roof. Expand mental health care and addiction treatment. Reform the criminal justice system to offer real second chances. Stop treating symptoms. Fix the root causes. We're the Keystone State. We've faced big challenges before. We have the resources, the models, and the ingenuity. The only question is, do we have the will? The story of homelessness in Pennsylvania can end with hope and dignity, but that ending is up to us. Thank you for watching. Now let's get to work.